This is a segment we call How Does It Do That, where one of us goes out and learns something about the world, asking the question, how does it do that? And brings back the information down off the proverbial mountain. So this time around, I picked something that I think a lot of us use every day. If you own a cell phone, you certainly use it. But a lot of us in media especially like that storage space. And solid state drives is what we're going to talk about today.
The future of storage technology.
The future.
Or is it the last best thing and the next best thing's coming?
I don't know. I hope my research did not go that far into the future. Anyway, it's solid state's the way it's going. Obviously, you're saving a lot more space than hard drive disks. They're more durable, and I finally figured out why. Because everyone always is like, "Oh, it's more secure, it's safer." And I'm just like, why? No one could tell me.
What do you store your pictures on? Regular hard drives?
Yeah, just the regular hard drive, whatever I can pick up at the Apple Store. Or, if I really have to go, Best Buy if they have any.
No solid state life over there?
Truthfully, I don't know, so I'm going to learn something today. Maybe it is.
Hey, this might help you out.
I should have read the back of the box, and came over with the material.
So ask the questions. I will try to answer them. Maybe you walk away with a little professional improvement.
Yeah, and you'll see some other photography. Like, you better put that on solid state. How fast you can transfer 6,000 photos.
Yeah. So the main difference, I won't talk too much about hard drives, but just at the top here, I'll talk about the difference between them. So hard drives have a mechanical function to them. They're a spinning disk, and there's like these little needles that essentially like write and read on the disk. And for a long time, I thought they were like DVDs, where actually the laser actually peppers it with the ones and zeros. But it's weird. It's actually like there's a magnetic coating on the disk. And each little segment of the coating is called a bit. That's where we get that bit from. And the laser, the little needle of the hard drive tells a bit if it's like a certain polarization, like a north or a south, they call it. And depending on what it is, it represents a 1 or a 0. Now,
there's no in between.
There's no in between. There's no margin of error. No, but it's just binary at that point. So hard drive, the reason why they're a little more fragile or can fail is that mechanical thing in it can fall apart. If you drop it, it can break, it can come loose. Many things can happen. The disk can become scratched if, magnetization gets in there and can wreck it. So hard drives kind of have these faults to them. Enter solid state drives, which are more electronic based. It's crazy. This is how it works. And I'm going to try to paint this picture for you because it is pretty visual.
Take it away, Picasso.
I'll keep it in broad strokes. But essentially, they have stacks of these little things. They're like shaped like a thumbtack. Like the top of a thumbtack, it's got the wide top, the middle, and the wide bottom. That's what they're shaped like. And inside are these little containers. They're called these little things are called charge trap flash, and they're essentially little memory banks. They have 7 little segments in them, and each of the segments gets filled up by electrons that pass through it. And so when you're storing data, this thing sends electrons out to the little charge trap flash, and then it keeps a certain level. And each level is correspondent to a 3-bit piece of information, binary again. So 001, 100, and then there's a couple options in between. Now, this is more secure because the electrons, once they bind to that memory bank, they stay there for like years. And you could shake it and you can do whatever you want to it, but because it's it's electron based, like at an atom level, like it's pretty secure. Like a physical thing isn't going to shake it loose.
You need a large hadron collider to knock that shit out.
In fact, that's how you have to wipe an SSD drive every single time. You have to throw it in Elon Musk's private particle collider to wipe your solid state drives. Hey, Elon, can you help me with my phone? So anyway, these little guys are stacked on top of each other. And in 1 terabyte chip, the chip is the size of a dime. Okay.
Wow.
They're stacked 100 high, and they're stacked in a column. There's 40,000 in one. So it's like 100 high, 40,000, and then the rows are 50,000 long. So you have all these little memory banks just stacked up on top of each other and sandwiched in.
And this, this 100,000, 40,000 is the size of a dime, or
The solid state, like 1 terabyte solid state chip
yeah,
is like the size of a dime. Can be the size of a dime.
So what you're saying is that this guy, whoever created the SSDs,
Yeah.
went out to the bank one day to get a roll of dimes and was like, you know what? I can condense some memory.
That was probably his
You
goal.
know?
Like, I'm gonna beat the size of this dime.
what is the smallest form of currency that I can replicate
Which is
into
it's
these
the dime.
drives?
It's the dime. You want to say it's as small as a dime.
But very valuable.
If it's as small as a penny, you'd be like, it's kind of impressive.
They don't like copper, you know.
They don't like copper. So they have those that it's 100 high, 50,000 in a column, 40,000 in the row, 40,000 rows of them. You duplicate that and flip it over, and that's all your power. And then you stack that 8 times, and that is like a 1 terabyte solid state drive. So that's what's pretty crazy about this. These little things are on the end. They're called electrons, the right place. Where I'm looking for the. Okay, yeah,
Cathode ray tubes.
yeah. That's you're close.
Dang, wrong decade.
Control gate selector.
Oh, hey, look at that.
So anyway, those are the things they like find when you're writing the data. Like this happens all in a split segment eye. It's as fast as electricity can travel across.
Oh.
The metal conductor. So it's
How
like,
long does it take
boom,
them to
boom,
like
boom.
make stuff like this, though?
That I didn't get into a lot of the manufacturing because remember this section is how does it do that? But our boy DJ Silly Putty's been like very, very diligent in the background. Takes about 6 months to make one of these, and
All for you to use it in a matter of nanoseconds.
yeah, but then you can use them for a lot longer because
Yeah.
they don't fall apart as quickly.
So what's the like max like lifespan of one of these?
I think if you take care of them, I think like 5-6 years, they feel pretty confident.
You feel like hard drives, kind of 3-4 years. You're comfortable using it. I've still got like a computer from like 6 years ago, kind of running. If the components still work, it's gonna be fine. But
I have a 2013 MacBook, so I mean, if you just keep
There you go.
keep it up to date and
Yeah.
don't overcharge it like I do. But, you know.
Well, DJ Silly Putty also found like 10-year lifespan is typically what they warranty these drives on, which is pretty solid compared to.
solid state.
I think.
You took my joke.
Oh, my bad. We can take that back.
Yeah, so it's like pretty solid. Wow, we're ready for the second time. No, but
Let's get into liquids now.
so liquid. But yeah, so that's solid state drives. I mean, they are more expensive right now because it's more storage for less space, and you get a little more security out of them, and they're faster because again, it's electronic rather than mechanical. So you can only. That's why writing to hard disks takes longer because it's literally the physical capability of how fast that thing can
It
spin.
can only spin so fast.
It can only spin that fast.
So let me ask you, as somebody who uses hard drives, external hard drives, what is the price difference between, a normal hard drive
Man,
to
asking all these good questions.
SSD?
Well, the thing, like, from what I've noticed, so if we take it back, you used to get like a floppy disk with like 128 kilobytes of information, which I don't know how much that was back then, but even just within the last 10 years of, doing film stuff, 256 gigabyte hard drive would be, $100.
Yeah.
Like, dang, nice. And then, come to, this year, like 256 gigabyte hard drive, like you probably get that for just walking in the door as a freebie.
Here's a party gift. Here's a door prize.
So, I mean, roughly, I shoot about a terabyte a year of photos.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's been the last, 2 years with the pandemic, slowing down the process of shooting. But I roughly like can time out shooting a terabyte. And that's not me like deleting photos or anything. That's me holding on and adding like edits and TIFFs and RAWs and JPEGs.
So I looked it up. So it's like it is more economical to have the hard drives. Like I'm looking at a couple of these. You can get like a Toshiba 1 terabyte for like $40. You can get 2 terabytes for 80, but then the solid state starts at 1 terabyte at 80. So it's essentially
That's
half.
not bad.
Essentially half, like, or double the price for the same amount of storage. But I think it's interesting to compare. Like, maybe hard drives for photographers are fine still because it's really more of a storage facility where, like, if you're editing video off of a drive, that solid state is going to help you in the live edit and make sure your proxies are properly functioning. So
I mean, everything has its flaws in it. I mean, it was I think 5-6 years ago I had just a regular hard drive, and I mean, I'm pretty cautious and careful with my stuff, but I mean, I lost 3-4 years of work. And we were never truly ever able to recover anything. Wow. And I mean, when you plug it in, I mean, you could hear the disc kind of like, wow, 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 wow. It's something.
Off-axis torque.
Yeah, something happened. I mean, I had reached out to a couple people, and they're like, we could try, but might make it worse.
You like acquired to those like data recovery guys.
Yeah. And they're like, it's not worth it. You can either lose all your information, or what we could do is wipe it clean and start fresh. And I'm like, well, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to save the work,
But you're not very good at this business that you're in.
Wiping it fresh does nothing for you, because why are you going to put stuff on a broken hard drive again?
Yeah.
Well, and then I got the lecture of like, well, are you backing things up? I'm like, well, yeah, I have a system. And then he's like, well, coming from a technical standpoint, he's like, your system's kind of flawed. So I then I took that as like, all right, I got to start setting up a system of security.
Do you want to name this guy right now in this podcast? Because we will name him. Just kidding.
I don't want any.
Give a life lesson to the people.
He's Russian, so I don't know if I should.
He doesn't exist.
Back up your work if you're doing anything. Hit the save button.
I love how just
get on another hard drive.
I love how like that lecture is just so readily available from a Russian.
One last thing, have you found in your research and study, was there any like degradation of over time, like kind of old like VHS tapes, those degrade over time?
Yeah.
Say that word one more time.
Degradation.
Wow, that's
like big words.
Well, I mean, we have a good dollar system going.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like throwing 5 10s at me.
That's it, man.
The only thing I could theorize is that the magnetization process used over and over again on the surface of the hard disks, like, eventually can corrode it or corrupt it. But with this, when you're emptying memory out of a solid state drive, it releases the protons, or the electrons. It just forces them back out. And so I think it's probably safer to use the solid state again. That's why they do the 10-year guarantees. Like, nothing's really gonna mess that up.